Inspiration. Maximize your true potential by tuning into Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti, an uplifting brand new radio show full of variety, latest Bollywood music, interesting facts, heartwarming special requests, health and beauty tips, inspiring interviews, enlightening pearls of wisdom, captivating world music. This is one unique radio show that you won't want to miss, because Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti has it all. Pump up the volume on NuSound Radio 92 FM for Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti every Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, or join our global community live online on newsoundradio.com. So why don't you LSLT with Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti? Yes, and why don't we LSLT with Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti, as we say, on NuSound Radio 92 FM. We have a real good show in store for you today. And not just that, as always, we have a surprise guest for you. He is amazing, but I'm not going to tell you anything more right now. Let's start off with a special song. As we say, it's always good to start up on a spiritual level. So here you go, a special little spiritual song for all our spiritual song lovers out there. And it looks like the spiritual song does not want to come on, so it does not really matter, because you're going to be talking to me instead. Let me tell you a little bit about my special guest who's going to be joining us today. His name is Leon Aarts. Isn't it a beautiful name? I love that name, Leon. I think it's a really great name. And Leon Aarts is a real wonderful gentleman who I met. He's an author. He's written a fantastic book. The book itself is called Inside Out: How to Live with Your Heart Fully Open. I know we have many, many authors out there as well, people who love writing, script writing, all sorts of things. But this one has a little bit of a deeper meaning behind it, this particular content. So we're going to be finding out a lot more about what Leon Aarts has to say about this particular book, and not just that, about the kind of work he does. But before then, let's get on with our special little spiritual song, as promised. Well, that was a little special little prayer song there for you. They say it's always good to start off on a prayer song. Some of these mantras, as they say, when they say certain mantras like these, you find that they have special spiritual energy. And many people who keep repeating certain mantras, they say that it has some kind of a vibration that creates some kind of an effect, as we say, cause and effect. But enough of that right now. Let's move on and let me introduce to our special guest, Leon Aarts, as I promised. Let's welcome him on air. Hi, Leon.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Oh, so fine. And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us at the radio station. And of course, we would like to know lots and lots about you. I know we have very short time, but I know you're a very interesting character. Because but before we talk about anything, Leon, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I run an organization called Sweet Peace, and that's really an accumulation of everything I've done in my life. And I know we talk about this a bit later, but when I was in my 20s, I was a top chef. I worked in the top restaurants here in England, in France and Holland, where I'm from. And I had my own restaurant, a very highly acclaimed restaurant as well. And then I came to London in 2001 to start a fine food wholesale business. And so my food really has been a direct threat through my life. And the last few years I've been running a foundation to raise money to feed children in developing countries as well. Every time when you buy a meal for yourself, you give 15 pence extra, and for that 15 pence a child gets a meal in a school in a developing country. So the benefit is that the child not just gets a meal but goes to school, and for 15 pence you make from your one meal you make two. So
oh wow,
we eat, they eat.
That's a really lovely idea, isn't it? So you end up feeding two people, really, for the price of one. I think Indians would love that. Feed two for the price of one. And Leon, yourself, you're an author, you're a chef, you have quite a spiritual outlook towards life, and of course you're running the foundation as well to carry out lots of charitable work. How does that all come about? I mean, how do you manage all those different activities and things in your life?
Well, it just happens, and I always say I go where the energy is. So wherever I'm attracted to, or where life brings me, and that is by listening to your intuition, to your inner guidance. Yeah.
And what do we say? Because many people talk about that inner guidance, our intuition. How would you describe intuition? Because I understand when we say, "Oh, I just know it. I just have that feeling. Something's just not right," or "I feel great here," or whatever it is. What is it? What is this intuition?
Well, intuition is something which is within you, and we think it comes from a different place because it's not tangible. It's not really something. Especially here in our Western culture, we talk about, or we validate, or we even talk. I don't want to say teach our children, because we don't need to teach each other anything. We know everything we need to know. But at schools it's not taught. It's actually pushed away, and because it's not something which is tangible. But intuition comes from inside you. Intuition comes from inside you, and within And when we let go of all the barriers, the walls, and everything we have built around ourselves, the better we can listen to our intuition and let us guide us. And you can train yourself with that as well.
Wow, this is great.
By the way, your intuition is not that voice you're in your head. I'm not good enough, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm whatever you tell yourself.
So that's not the intuition part. No. The intuition part normally is of a much higher vibrationary level.
Yes, it comes,
yes, and you'll probably find it's loving, very peaceful, it has that lovely guidance to...
Yes, and what we need to do really as human beings, and I'm sure we talk about that in a little while, is open our heart more, and because most of our hearts are closed, and when we open our hearts, you start to shine your light from your heart on all other aspects of yourself, but also your life. And now we live in a culture where our mind controls us and guides us. But if you live from your heart, you let your heart shine on your mind, and then your heart guides your mind, because we do need our minds as well.
Yeah, the intellect comes in, but the heart has the love in it, filled with love, isn't it? In fact, that comes to that kind of brings us to another question that I had. I got this book. I came along and saw you speak at an event, and it was really wonderful. Mm-hmm. You were very inspiring. Every single person sitting there went back really inspired. And you gave me this book, which you had signed, which I remember this beautiful little quote that you gave me. But, the book itself said, the title of the book was Inside Out. Yeah. And then it said, How to Live with Your Heart Fully Open. Mm-hmm. Where did this title, Inside Out, come from? And what do you mean by that?
Well, basically, we live in a world where we think we will be happier when we have that new job, when we find a partner we're longing for, when we have that new car, or when we can go on this special holiday, then I will be happier. And that's all on the outside. But actually, the outside world, the house you have, your bank account, the cars, doesn't change anything if you're not happy. Happiness comes from within. Everything comes from within. So when you change yourself from within, then the outside world will change as well. I'm not saying that you can't or shouldn't have a bigger house or a nicer car. I'm not saying that at all, but it comes from within, not the other way around. And in my journey, which I share in my book, I learned that the hard way as well. When we were running a very successful business here in London, I had been one of the best chefs in Holland, and one day, about 7 years ago, I realized, but I'm not happy. That's all on the outside. Yeah. On the outside, that looks that I have everything, but on the inside, I'm not happy. And then I changed everything. Yeah.
What was it that, because it's a very big change if you have a huge business that's running, mm-hmm. and you're one of the top chefs in the whole of Holland, mm-hmm. Very well known as well, and suddenly you just close everything and you say, right, I'm pursuing a spiritual path, and this is where my happiness lies. I mean, how does that change take place? Is it possible? And what made you change just like that?
No, it's definitely possible. The reason why I written this book and 3 others is, I believe if I can do it, anyone can. I always thought I'm just Leon from a little village in Holland, but I'm not. That was what I thought. That was my little voice. But I truly believe if I can do it, anyone can. Yeah.
Wow. Do you know what, Leon? You've got such a wonderful, I think inspirational knowledge and wisdom, I should say. I'd love to find out a little bit more. Before then, we have lots of Bollywood lovers out there who are listening, not just online, but here as well in the whole of East London. And all of you listeners out there, I know you want to know more, but before then, I think it's time for a special little Bollywood song. For all you Shah Rukh lovers out there, here's a remix version of Shah Rukh Khan's little remix medley song.
जाए तो प्यार दो चोरी चोरी प्यार लो चोरी चोरी और बेचैन दिल भर की हो जाए तो प्यार दो चोरी चोरी प्यार लो चोरी चोरी मैं कटी हमला अगला दीवाना कौन तो तलस तो मैं कटी हमला अगला दीवाना और रब्बा किसी बात न जानो
Advertise on NuSound Radio for as little as £10 per day. For further details, telephone 020 8 472 9994.
My name is Detective Bennett, a serving police officer in Newham. The officers on your borough have been working hard to tackle crime and antisocial behaviour in your area and have seen a significant reduction year on year. However, we are determined to do even more, but need the support of the local community to achieve this. Many people are unsure when or if they should call the police, but we want to actively encourage our local residents to do just this. If you witness suspicious or criminal behaviour, it is important you report it to the police straight away via the 999 number so that we can take immediate action. Should you wish to report the crime anonymously, did you know you can make contact discreetly or report via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111, or alternatively, for other non-emergency situations, there are several ways to contact us, including calling 101, online at www.met.police.uk, or attending one of your local contact points, opening times for which can be found on the Met website. Help to reduce crime in your area. The Metropolitan Police, working together for a safer London.
Yes, and that's it. To make sure that if you see anything suspicious, do make sure that you help other community members by making sure you report it, or at least, anonymously give a quick call. And it's better to say something than not. Anyway, let's move on. And we were talking to Leon Aarts, our studio guest for today. He's an author. He used to be a top chef in Holland. He still is, I should say. I'm sure he can cook us a special little spaghetti sometime. Leon, we were chatting to you just a little while back, and I've got so many other questions to ask you. I just wanted to find out, in your book, I was running through it and I was reading it, and one of the chapters talked about harmony and conflict.
Yeah.
What does harmony and conflict refer to in everyday life? I mean, we do know it's harmony and conflict.
Yeah.
But how would you kind of describe that? How do we go from the conflict arena to the harmony arena?
Well, harmony and conflict is really the first chapter in the book, and that is realizing and accepting, or maybe better say, to become aware that there's harmony and conflict in everything. There is a rhythm in everything in nature, like day and night, hot and cold. And if you look on a scale, where does hot stop and where does it become cold? For you that might be at a different point than for me. When do we say when we go outside it's cold, or it's warm, it's hot? So harmony and conflict is often the same. It's not that all of a sudden you're in harmony and then in conflict. And in that chapter, I talk about becoming aware of your own life and what's happening to your life. And, conflict really is a choice. So if something happens to us, let's say some people, they are at a level when they walk out, they go on the high street here, and someone bumps into them, that's already a reason to cause conflict with that person. Someone probably bumps into us by accident, by mistake. And so conflict is a choice. And as there is rhythm to everything in life, day and night, so is it with our life as well. You know, the sun shines and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a period with challenges. But if you see that there's a rhythm to it, you can accept it and go through it. And if you choose to stay in harmony rather than to be in conflict, not see the bad thing of it, then you will flow through it a lot easier. And a lot of these things come from our early childhood, the patterns and beliefs we take on from the people very close around us, our teachers, our parents, our family.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really interesting. You know, there is another way of looking at it. I have another viewpoint which adds on to that, which is as you move through life, sometimes you go through these challenges, etc., the conflict, as we would say. But it actually is training you to deal with life as well. Your threshold, your patience may grow, your tolerance levels, your wisdom will grow, experience will help you to deal with other matters, perhaps help others along the way. So if you look at it and choose to look at it in a more positive level, then you'll probably find you come out as a stronger person as well from it all. Yeah, absolutely. That's really well described. I like that. I know that our listeners out there, every single person, you know, every human being in the whole world will have to go through ups and downs in life. Even if you were Jesus Christ or Buddha, they all went through it. So it's part of life, so why not just embrace it and do the best we can? I know it's easy to say than do, but at least, you know, we'll start off with the right mindset, perhaps. That leads me to another question for you. You also spoke about authentic power. And, you know, people talk about inner power, and they talk about inner strength and inner power. What did you mean by authentic power? Because isn't power always authentic, or is there a particular description to that?
Well, you know, power in our culture is a word we often associate to people. When we say people in power, people in government, people, you know, who have high positions in corporate businesses or in the education system, and they therefore in their system, in their business, in politics, they can do a lot. But that's not power. Often that's force. That's something which is forced upon us. Your authentic power, I believe, in its true sense, is a very good word. Your authentic power is who you truly are and what comes from within you. Yeah, it is your inner power. And your authentic power is distinguishing what's from the outside and what's from the inside. And so I talk about how can you really get to learn who you truly are, that, you know, go within and learn that, and then you discover your authentic power. And that's when you start letting go of the layers and become yourself more and more.
So how do you recognize, because sometimes you think, oh, this is who I am, and suddenly you start realizing little by little the layers come off. But how do you know there are layers there? Because when you talk to somebody and you say, look, I know you're really kind and you're trying to be really, you know, tough and everything, but I know you're all sweetie inside. Why don't you just be you know, like a friend or a neighbor who may be a little cranky or so. You know, generally they're nice people. So, but they try to put in this tough mask, perhaps. What is it? How do we recognize that?
For ourselves.
For ourselves, yeah. Maybe others can, but what about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I talk about it now, and sometimes it's tough, you know, going within and accepting that from yourself and letting go of the limited beliefs you have. People who are tough from the outside, like you said, and, you know, I'm sure all of us had moments in our lives that we were like that, and, you know, no one is perfect. That's because we've been hurt somewhere. All of us have been hurt by someone. I'm not saying that people around us do that on accident, but we all have felt hurt for whatever reason, and that might make us that we become over a bit tough or have a hard shell. And so each and every one of us has been hurt, and we have to, you know, acknowledge where we've been hurt and why, but then let go. You know, maybe your dad, whatever he said to you, didn't mean it in the way that you perceived it, or that person who bumped into you in the road, you know, didn't do that on purpose. It's as simple as that, and then accept that and go within. And yes, sometimes you come across deep emotions and you have to go through that, and that can be difficult, but that's the only way. And what we, as, let's say, for your neighbor, like you just used as an example, is just give her love and send love to her on as a vibration, because that really works. If you come from love and with your best self, that person might not say, open up at the time, but they will understand on a deeper level later what you try to do.
I love that. Yeah, when you come from the position of love, then you just are. You're not even trying to be.
Yes,
it just comes from within. You know, you're not even trying to be. Let me try to be a bit more loving with this person. It's more about the fact that you just feel it, you know, and you feel compassion for someone, or heart opens up, as you said in your book title. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. In fact, do you know what? That was such good information that, Leon, you get a treat for a second Bollywood song.
Oh, great. Thank you.
This particular song, I've been involved in the world of dance, and the first Bollywood star that I ever taught, his name was Govinda.
Okay.
And this particular song comes from a movie called Coolie Number One, and Govinda and an actress called Karishma Kapoor, both of them danced to this particular track. So this one's specially dedicated to our dear Leon Aarts, who's come here, although it's completely different to spiritual music. Enjoy.
Thank you. Peace is the stillness you have within, the beauty you have within, and if you have that and you radiate that out, someone like Jesus and Buddha, like you just mentioned, they had a lot of inner peace, and therefore they tapped into their inner guidance and wisdom. And both Buddha and Jesus had lots of challenges in their life. A lot of people, when they were alive, didn't like them for whatever reason. That's not for this show, but they could deal with it, and they kept speaking their truth.
Yes.
And they kept speaking their truth in a very beautiful, tranquil way without hurting anyone else.
Yes, absolutely.
And Gandhi the same.
Yeah, I love that. Where there's a strength in peace as well, where you do not agree, or you do not get involved in all the humdrum of everything, because you're still. This is what it is. This is your path. Whatever happens, people try to push you, pull you, whatever is going on, you still remain on your path and stay true to yourself, as well as stick to the good principles in life, as we say.
If I can share my dream with you,
please
my dream is to create more cohesive, peaceful, and beautiful societies. Together with people of all kinds of backgrounds, that of diverse communities, and come together again, because I think it would be really beautiful if we create that more cohesive society where everyone feels accepted and love and can do what they want to do, and because I believe it's possible.
Well, do you know what? I'm the first one. I'm going to join your little group there.
Okay, great.
I love that. My outlook towards life is definitely, I love cultural diversity. I love global friendship. I love, intercultural relations. It's an area that I'm very, very, I would say, very dear to me. And that's because, of course, I see each person as a soul, not as the color, not as a race, not as a status. I just see them as a soul. So perhaps this is similar to what you're talking about. Just accept them for who they are. Leon, that's really great. We're kind of running out of time, but if anybody wanted, to contact yourself or contact us so that we can pass on that details to you, is there anything that our listeners can get involved in, and how can they get involved in this?
Yeah, so the website is www.sweetpeace.me, And they can contact us via there. And so Ella and I, my colleague I mentioned before, we do these workshops, and we love to hear from people when they want to do workshops where we connect them with their inner peace and bring that to the outside world to create this more beautiful world. And we love to do that in any kind of groups, and especially youth. We're looking to do this with youth because I have a 14-year-old son, and they really get it. And imagine we start teaching and helping young adults or young children like this, and they step into the world like that, not stopped by the restraints we often have. And so, yeah, if you're interested, please send me an email and I get back to you.
So that's www.sweetpeace.me.
Yeah.
ME. And of course, if anybody's interested to perhaps invite yourself to do some kind of youth work or to organize one of these workshops with the youth group, or it's businesses, it's anybody really.
Yeah, it works. That's nice that you mentioned that. We've done it in business teams as well, where the process will be a little bit different. But imagine teams, when they start to talk about this, they start to perform and collaborate a lot more. You know, the competition between team members will go because you do understand each other better, and you start working from your strengths, not your weaknesses, and businesses can be transformed just like that.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Oh God, we're running out of time, Leon. I really love this. But do you know what? Before we go, we have to tell you this Monopoly thing.
Okay.
In fact, I haven't got this. I've got a couple of little answers here, but the actual real answer was this. It took 70 days, 70, for this whole Monopoly game to continue for, and without stopping.
Yeah.
So 70 days in a run. Can you imagine that, playing Monopoly for 70 days? That's 70 days of your life. You know, dedicated to Monopoly. I don't know, but it's interesting. It's really great. I'm sure they're in the Guinness Book of Records. We're coming to the end of our program, and of course I want to say a very big thank you to Leon for being here. Leon, thank you so much for joining us at NuSound Radio 92 FM on Honey Kalaria's Midday Musti. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you again and wish you the best of luck for your future projects.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's time for our news now. And before we have our news, let's have a little Bollywood piece here.
The news on the hour from NuSound Radio 92 FM.
From the Sky News.